All right, we're live. I'll now turn it over to Tori Marsh, our clerk. Go ahead.
Per the State of California Executive Order N-29-20, this meeting is being held telephonically. All public comment were received by either email or voicemail as noted in the agenda. Commissioners, if you would please mute your microphones till called upon for comment or vote. Now I will let Chairperson White open the meeting.
Okay, welcome everyone. I'm going to call the meeting to order now with a roll call.
Chairperson White.
Present.
Vice Chairperson Christensen.
Present.
Commissioner Hollingsworth.
Present.
Commissioner Nixon.
Here.
Commissioner Hamlin.
Present.
All members are present telephonically. Thank you.
Okay, we'll start with the pledge to the flag. So everybody please put your hand over your heart and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll start with the consent agenda. So all items listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine and non-controversial by city staff. Consent items will be considered first and may be approved by one motion if no member of the council or public wishes to comment or ask questions. If comment or discussion is desired by anyone, the item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered in listed sequence with an opportunity for any member of the public to address the Planning Commission concerning the item before action is taken. Were there any public comments regarding consent agenda items that should be removed?
We did not receive any public comments.
Okay, I will now poll the commissioners to see if they would like anything removed. Vice Chairperson Christensen.
Not for me, thank you.
Commissioner Hollingsworth.
No, I have nothing to pull.
Commissioner Nixon.
I have nothing.
Commissioner Hamlin.
I have nothing as well.
And I have nothing to remove. So now I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Christensen first.
Second from Hollingsworth. Oh.
Okay, so the motion was made and seconded. We will now take a vote via roll call on the consent agenda. All in favor of adopting Vice Chairperson Christensen?
Aye.
Commissioner Hollingsworth?
Yes.
Commissioner Nixon?
Yes.
Commissioner Hamlin?
Yes.
And I vote yes. So let the record show there was a unanimous vote for approval of consent. Next item, the audience oral and written communications per the State of California Executive Order N-29-20. Were there any public comments?
We did not receive any public comments.
Okay, so now we can move on to item number 6, which is the big item on our agenda tonight. The architectural design and site plan review number 2020-11 for Hampton Inn Hotel. We will consider approving an architectural design and site plan review number 2020-11 for the Hampton Inn, subject to conditions of approval. Okay, staff, are you ready to make a report?
Hi there, this is Kim. Yes.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, so this agenda item is for the Hampton Inn Hotel that is in the Capitol Hills area of town. The application initially was brought through planning and approved by the Planning Commission back in 2015. However, after 2 years, the project entitlement expired and the property exchanged ownership. And now Steve Kiki, the architect, has brought this back forward again. So since the initial approval, the city has now adopted architectural design guidelines that were not in place previously. So the only change that staff the only substantive change that staff asked for was related to architecture. So if I could have everybody turn their attention to staff report, page 6, figures 4 and 5 show you what the architecture initially looked like in 2015. And if you scroll down to the next 2 elevations, staff had asked the architect to modify the building colors and perhaps add a little bit more timber elements and modify the parapet widths. Pleased to say that the applicant, thank you, Steve, came back with what you see now. Staff determines that this looks great. It's consistent with what's out there. It complements the Holiday Inn Express across the street. We don't have any other comments. The conditions of approval from 2015 are still applicable and carry over to this amended staff report. And let's see. I believe that's all I have. So staff would recommend tonight approval of a resolution of the Planning Commission to adopt AD and SBR number 2020-11, subject to the attached conditions of approval in your attachment A. And Steve is on the phone and is available for any questions if anybody has any applicant questions.
Okay, thank you, Kim. Tori, was there any public comment?
We did not receive any public comments.
Okay, so now I will ask the commissioners for their comments or questions. And we'll start with Vice Chairperson Chris.
Thank you, Chairman Wade. 2 things real quick. On page, I just had it, give me 1 second to find it again. Just a curiosity thing. It was about the bicycle parking, where we have up to
Yes.
22. The applicant, we believe 5 is okay. I'm just kind of, I'm with the Grand Fondo and stuff, or is the city still doing a lot of stuff with bicycles? I mean, it would just be nice if this was going in and there is still the Grand Fondo and, we're still doing the bicycle thing, to have a little bit more bicycle parking, even though it's not required. Just kind of my own comments. And then the other thing I had too, before I give it back to staff, is the driveway. Sorry, scrolling through still. The driveway. Come on. Sorry. The driveway on the north, I guess, east corner. Is that going to be a reciprocating driveway? I'm just kind of looking at. I don't have a good vision of might be on the other side of that property, and I just want to make sure that we have that dialed in before we move on. And that's it. Those are the only 2 things I have for staff.
I can probably answer both questions now, if that's all right.
Yes, Kim, please go ahead.
Thank you. So for the bicycle parking, we did notice while looking at the site plan that the Tehachapi zoning code has a calculation of what's required, and it's a percentage off of the off-street parking. So going off of the paper requirement, this project would be required to have 22 bike racks installed, or enough bike racks installed to lock up 22 bikes. Overall, we think that's kind of excessive, so we were okay with having the 1 rack for the 5 stalls. For an event like a bicycle event, I'm not even sure if the capacity of 22 stalls would be enough. I don't know if in the past we historically put out temporary bike locks for everybody to use, or bike racks for everybody to use. If we really want to add another couple of racks, I'm sure there's room there to add it on, but they won't be used most of the time. So it's more just a little piece of infrastructure that's kind of vacant sitting at the front of the hotel. So I can let the applicant speak to that. Okay. And then with regards to the reciprocal access, there's actually a condition of approval in attachment A that speaks to reciprocal access and easements between the 2 property owners. So that's written in there so that we'll have that. Let me know if there's anything else you want to see.
No, I must have missed that condition. So thank you. If it's there, I somehow
There,
missed
yeah.
it. Thank you. Chairman White, I am done.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Hollingsworth, comments and questions?
I don't really have any questions. I'm good with this.
Okay, Commissioner Nixon.
Good evening. I do have a couple of things. One, with this having come to us previously and property owners have changed, do we feel confident that the project will have substantial progress in 2 years?
Jay, can you answer that, or do we need to have the architect?
Yeah, I would suggest we allow Steve Kiki to answer that one if you like.
Okay, yes, could you please address that issue?
Sure. I would say so. I know that the original developer had some issues with financing at the time. He had a lot of other irons in the fire. I don't know if that all had anything to do with it, but for whatever reason, he was never able to get the thing funded, or at least not at a rate. I really don't know the details of all that. I don't know a whole lot about the new ownership group, except that they do have a track record with Hilton, and they are currently developing another property in California down in Eastvale, which is San Bernardino County, kind of down by Chino, Ontario, that neck of the woods. So I honestly don't know a whole lot about them. So, but I don't know. They seem to, it's kind of a tough time, and a lot of hotel activity's been put on hold with the pandemic, but they seem confident in moving ahead. So.
Okay, thank you. Did that answer your question sufficiently?
Yes, that did on that one item. I had a question also on the reciprocal agreement. Does staff know if that property owner is favorable in doing this, or will that be a sticking point?
This is Steve Kiki again. That agreement back after the 2015 approval was executed and recorded back then. So that is in place as we speak. It's already been agreed to.
Okay. And then my last question, I think, is for staff. I know is that area, Capitol Hills, continues to develop with hotels and whatever else will coming in. We've seen with the Holiday Inn Express that's there, and that the parking lots don't have availability for big motorhomes and trucks with equipment and vehicles pulling trailers and that kind of thing. Has staff looked at possibly limiting some of the off-street parking so that we don't run into an issue where there's so much parking taking place on the streets over there?
Yeah, if you like, I'll answer that one. This is Jay Schlosser. That's an excellent question. Yes, we have taken steps to address the street parking associated particularly with big rigs, but also with larger travel trailers. We're not very concerned, I think, at this time with somebody with a truck and with like a motorhome or a travel trailer parking on the street. We certainly are very concerned about the large big rigs because they do damage over time to our roadways. So we have put up the appropriate signs to prohibit that activity. It's certainly a challenge. Just because you have the right signs doesn't mean you get instantaneous compliance. So excellent question. Maybe some feedback for you, Steve, tonight for the Hampton ownership. We can accommodate minor changes to the parking lot presuming they don't disqualify the analysis in this report, to add a couple of spots that might accommodate a larger vehicle. But because I do think that that's a valid concern. We do see a lot of contractors' vehicles at the Holiday Inn Express. So anyway, good point, and I would leave it there.
No, I
Okay,
would add
thanks,
that I just did a Holiday Inn Express out in Lost Hills, so it's right on I-5. And we made quite a few parking spaces oversized for trucks with service beds. And we also had some pull-through spaces for semis, but it's also adjacent to truck stop. I would say in our case, somebody driving a semi is not really going to be able to do it on Capitol Hills Parkway because they would have to somehow be able to make a U-turn up there somewhere, and that's not really going to be feasible. So I don't know what else we could do to prevent it. We could get some extra wide or, some larger than normal stalls, I think. I don't know that we could get any pull-through stalls for a semi.
Okay, well, I'll let you and staff work that out, but it was just something that I can see in the future becoming an issue in that whole area. So, but Chairman White, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Hampton.
Yes, Chairperson White, just a couple comments, and I think they've really already been dealt with, but the bicycle stall was one that caught my attention. It seems like that makes sense for a proposal for the amount that was proposed. My thoughts are if, during surge events, really high value bicycles as well, they're probably going to bring them in the room. And then my question, I was going to ask the same one Commissioner Nixon did about the ability to, the funding, how is the applicant funded, and are they actually going to be able to complete the project? And I think Mr. Kiki answered that for us to the best of his ability. So that was all I had. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I remember most of the details from when we approved this before. I believe it was Tara Delamata who owned the property at that time. And it was a speculation on his part to get the plans and then to find someone to build a developer. And I think that was the downfall. It was just he wasn't able to find anyone, as the architect mentioned, to fund it. So I'm glad to see there's some visual improvements on the facade. And I'm hoping that'll give us 3 fairly large motels in that area. And I'm hoping it's going to bring some additional restaurants to the area, because all those people do have to eat. And of course, our restaurants in other parts of town serve that. But I think in an area like this, which is a more commercial area for travelers, it's more conducive for chains to come in. So I'm looking forward to that, to bring additional amenities for the Tehachapi residents. I didn't have any other comments. I think it's a good project, and I worry with so many hotels that we might not be able to fill them all, but of course that's not our worry. So with that, I will entertain a motion to approve architectural design and site plan 2020-11 for Hampton Inn, subject to the conditions of approval. Is there a motion?
Christensen moves.
Second, Hamblin.
And a second. Okay. Now we will take the vote by roll call. All of those in favor or against Vice President Christensen?
Aye.
Commissioner Hollingsworth?
Aye.
Commissioner Nixon?
Aye.
Commissioner Hamblin?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So let the record show that it was a unanimous vote to approve architectural design and site plan review number 2020-11 for the Hampton Inn, subject to conditions of approval. So we thank the architect for coming in and giving us information on this. And I think we're ready to move on. Planning Commission announcements or reports. Actually, do we have to approve the CEQA document, or is that folded into this? Jay?
This is Kim. Hi. The CEQA document is actually just an addendum to the previously approved negative declaration. So that is inclusive of the recommendation.
Okay, good. I just didn't want to overlook it if we had to approve that. Okay, so Planning Commission announcements or reports. Vice Chairperson Christensen,
I actually have none. Thank you.
Commissioner Hollingsworth,
I have none, thank you.
Commissioner Nixon,
I have nothing, thank you.
Commissioner Hamlin,
Nothing for me, thank you.
and nothing from me tonight. Development Service Director announcements or reports. Jay, do you have any announcements?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Sorry, a minute ago, I was having a lot of trouble getting off mute. So apologies. Yeah, just two for you guys to let you know. I wanted to ask the opinion of the Planning Commission about returning to an in-person meeting, subject, of course, to the city finding an available venue. I believe the council is going to end up leading this decision, and ultimately we'll be kind of instructing staff as to how to handle the Planning Commission. But I did want to be prepared to tell the council if you all had an opinion one way or the other. So nothing binding here, not asking for a vote, but is there anyone that objects to going back to an in-person meeting following, of course, all the CDC guidelines?
Is that open to commission?
Yes,
Yes, please.
Any objection to that, please state it now.
All right.
I have no objection. I support it wholeheartedly. We should be in person if we can do it safely.
Excellent. Okay. I think that's the answer I was expecting and looking for. So thank you all for that. The other thing to mention to you is that it is that time of year again, and the gentlemen here on the Planning Commission are all up for reappointment here shortly. So Commissioner White, Christensen, and Hamblin, your terms expire here in the end of May of this year, I believe. Tori, correct me if I'm wrong. And so staff is soliciting to the council for your seats in the next coming council meeting next Monday. We anticipate the council will authorize us to advertise. So if you all are interested in continuing your time on the commission, then you need to put your name back in the hopper again. So Tori is available to you all with any questions about that application process. So just wanted to let you all know what was coming.
Jay, let me just correct you really quick. They expire at the end of June.
Okay. So, but the plan is that the council would make the appointment in June. Is that correct, Tori?
Yeah, either
Okay.
end of May or beginning of June.
Okay, and then so you would serve through June, and then a new planning commission would be seated in July, presuming we have a meeting. So, thank you, Tori, for correcting me. Anyway, so I want to let you guys know that. The only other thing to let you know is things are busy. We've received a number of new applications. Charles, to your point, Commissioner White, pardon me, about other activity in Capitol Hills, we did receive an application for the development of another lot up there, and I've been speaking to 2 other property owners about activity in that area. So I do think that what you proposed earlier is likely to begin to occur as the hospital and the 3 hotels, 2 or 3 hotels will drive interest in that commercial development in that area. So it's going to be a busy time for us, and we certainly appreciate how well the Planning Commission does at going through these applications with us and working with us to get through them. So thank you all for that. That concludes my report.
Okay, I had a question for Tori. Do you know the deadline yet? Has a deadline been set for applications to reapply for the planning commission?
At the next council meeting, next Monday, we will get approval from council to start advertising, but we have not developed that staff report yet, so I'm not sure what the due date is. But I will let you know as soon as I know, Charles.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, as far as the agenda goes, we finished with that. If no one has anything else, we can adjourn. Okay, so the meeting was adjourned at 6:29.